It was a mildly cloudy day. The wind whisked around me as I placed my hands in my pockets. It was a rather normal day, just coming from home to school, nothing special. It was autumn, and the leaves were dancing in the sky as they fluttered down to the ground. Nature. It's beautiful, isn't it? I was walking on the sidewalk when I came across a familiar neighborhood. Ah, yes, this one. The street lamps were all broken, and there were piles of trash on the lawns. I've never been allowed by my parents to step foot in this neighborhood, even though it would only take me 20 minutes to walk to school. I'm 13 years old, and I'm perfectly capable of walking by a bad neighborhood without getting myself into trouble. So I took a chance and started onto the street. I looked to my left and to my right. There was nothing out of the ordinary, which was a good thing. It seemed peaceful. I didn't see why my parents told me never to cross this neighborhood. Now I might actually be early for school. Around 3:30, I was walking home from school when I came across the neighborhood. I now had no fear of crossing through. Now I decided to walk through without fear, feeling really good about this. I was halfway down the street when I stopped in my tracks. Something didn't feel right. I felt like I was being watched. I looked up ahead, but there was nothing. I looked to my left. Nothing. I looked to my right. There, across the street, there was a small house. It looked really old and run down a bit. There was a window and a curtain. The curtain was pulled open a little bit, and I could see a small boy about my size. He looked really pale and appeared to have blonde hair. It really creeped me out how he just stared at me. He didn't move at all. He stood there, like a statue. I had a strong tingling sensation travel up my spine as I darted away from the street and didn't stop running until I reached my neighborhood. I thought about the boy. He was just really weird and creepy. I had to get rid of these thoughts, so a video game or two should help relieve my mind. It was around midnight, and I was playing some games when my phone beeped. I picked it up and I saw that it was a text message. I looked at it and it was an unknown number. It read, "Hey." I looked at it and was confused, so I decided to text back. "Hey, who's this?" No response. "Hello?" I texted back. "What's your name?" Still, no response. I shrugged it off and continued to play on my computer, and my phone beeped. It was a message. "Benny," it said. I replied back, "Hi, Benny." I waited and I received another text. It was from Benny. "Hi, what's your name?" it asked. Without hesitating, I replied, "Johnny." I got another message from Benny again. "Cool name," it said. "Want to talk? It's really boring at my house." I smiled and replied, "Sure, why not?" I quickly asked him, "How'd you get this number in the first place?" There was no response for a while. I waited and waited. Still nothing. I looked at my alarm clock and it read 2 a.m. Might as well get some sleep. I settled into my bed and drifted off. The next morning, I woke up and there was a message from Benny. It read, "Sorry I was asleep. I was texting random numbers and you're the only one who answered." I smiled and replied, "It's okay, Benny." I got a smiley face from Benny and we just texted all day. We started to become friends. We texted all day and the next day. It was around 9 p.m. when I realized I had school tomorrow. I texted, "Benny, I have to go. I have school tomorrow." I immediately received a text from Benny that said, "No, please don't go." I told him, "I have to. Night." My phone started to blow up with text messages from Benny. "You can't leave me. Come back here. I will not be ignored." Just to name a few. I got scared. I swear I could feel my room vibrate a little for about 10 seconds before it stopped. I quickly turned off my phone and fell asleep, wanting the morning to come quickly. The next morning, I got dressed and walked to school. I avoided the bad neighborhood this time so I wouldn't get scared. I could feel something around me as I walked through the streets. I felt like I was being watched. I looked around and saw nothing. "What is that?" I thought to myself as I continued to walk to school. Seeing the leaves fall out of the corner of my eye made me jump. My heart would start to pound until I realized it was only a harmless leaf. I was really scared until I arrived at school. Everything at least seemed normal there. I didn't have time to think about Benny because I had other things to worry about. After school, I took the long route home and felt secure. I didn't feel like I was being watched this time, which was a relief. When I arrived home, I went up to my room and turned on my phone for the first time since last night. I had received over 100 text messages from Benny. Text after text. I'm sorry this, I'm sorry that. It felt endless scrolling through these messages. After a while, I decided to text Benny. Are you alright? And there was an immediate response. I'm okay, it said. I was just tired and out of it. I was about to text back, it's okay, when I received a very strange message. I looked at it confusingly. It read, "Can you send me a picture of yourself?" This was a very strange question, yes it was. However, I replied, "Only if you send me a picture of yourself." He replied, "Okay." I sent him my picture and waited. There was no response. I was wondering if he would ever send the photo. Right when I threw my phone on my bed, it beeped. I walked up to my phone and opened up the message. My heart started pounding as my eyes grew large. He had a really pale face. He had extremely blonde hair. He had dull black eyes. Eyes that didn't shine, consumed in hate, anger, and sadness. I became really scared for a second when I received the text from Benny. I'm sorry for staring at you the other day, it read. I just never noticed anyone outside in our neighborhood before. I didn't reply. I had other things I had to do, like homework. Later that night, my parents told me they were going out and I would be home alone for most of the night. After they left, I looked outside. It was pitch black out there. A typical autumn night. I decided to finish my homework and play some video games. I was about to go on my computer, my phone started ringing. It was from Benny. Hesitantly, I answered it. Hello? I answered nervously. Hello? The voice said. It was a woman. I responded. Hello, who's this? The woman replied back. My name is Lauren Claire. Who are you and why have you been texting this number? I became really confused. How is it that I was texting this woman named Lauren when I've been texting with Benny? I've been texting Benny. This is his phone. Why do you have his phone? Are you his mom? Lauren responded with a confused tone. I'm not a mother of anyone. I work at the mental hospital, California State Psychiatric Hospital. I started to become frustrated. Then who's Benny? Lauren sounded irritated as well. Who is Benny? Can you describe Benny for me? Without hesitation, I explained to Laura what Benny looked like, and where he lives, and I could hear her gasp. Sweetie, I don't know how to tell you this, but Benny was a patient of mine. My stomach nearly jumped out. What are you talking about? Lauren sighed. Benjamin, or Benny, was a patient here. He was one of my own patients. He was sent here after he murdered his friends. He told me that he liked to kill and hated to be ignored. He told me if you ignore him, that's the end. He was one of my most violent patients as well. It took 6 doctors to restrain him so we can put the straitjacket on him. A couple of days later, he strangled a nurse to death by choking her with his legs. He escaped his cell and we soon had him surrounded. He was next to a window that had a fire pit 6 stories downward. He said, I curse you all to hell, as he jumped to his death, and his body was burned in the fire pit. I gulped as I sat down on the floor, trying to comprehend everything that I just heard. Lauren tried to comfort me by saying it's okay, but she screamed. A blood-curdling scream. I could hear something fall on the floor on her end of the line as I shouted into the phone. Lauren! Lauren, are you there? Just then I heard the phone being picked up and I said, Hello? All I could hear was the breathing of whoever was on the other end of the line. Hello, I asked even more nervously. I could hear the inhale.
You're next,
They said as the line went dead. As soon as it went dead, I could hear a loud bang at my front door. It was fierce. Loud. I was so scared of what was outside of my house. I quickly turned off my bedroom lights and my electronics and locked my bedroom door as I slid quietly under my bed. Again, there it was. Bang! 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 It wasn't until the bang was so loud and so strong that I could hear my front door fall from its hinges onto the wooden floor. I covered my mouth and tried not to cry. I tried to text my parents, but my phone screen was frozen onto mine and Benny's chat. The phone beeped. The message read, I know you're here, Johnny. I put my phone on silent as I could hear the loud footsteps slowly come up my stairs. My heart was pounding so hard, my floor started to vibrate a little. I had to use all of my strength to keep breathing. I was so petrified. The footsteps came closer and closer to my room until the noise stopped. The room had an eerie silence. It was quiet. Too quiet. I tried not to make any noise. Then with one final bang, my door fell to the ground. Approaching on top of my door were a pair of feet. They were bloody and badly burned. You could see bone, that's how terrible it was. The feet moved on top of my door and onto my floor. I could see the feet were pointing away from me, and I dared not to make a sound. The feet didn't move. I was so petrified of what I saw. Then, my phone beeped. It was super loud, even though I turned it to silent. I shook with extraordinary fear as I read the message. "Where are you, Johnny? I want to play," it said. I dare not to reply. My phone then beeped again. The message read, "Let's play hide and seek. Ready or not, here I come." Then I heard my floor groan. I looked at the feet as they started to turn. They were translucent. Then my room started to shake a little. Then it felt like an earthquake was in my room. I closed my eyes and just prayed whatever it was would go away. The room shook and shook, and everything stopped. It was dead silent. I still didn't dare to make a sound. Silence. I then opened my eyes. They were super wide with pure fear. Then my phone beeped super loud again. I couldn't stop shaking when I picked up my phone and read the message in horror. The message read,
Found you.